So, I played Starfield about 9 hours a day. Spent about a hour in the creation kit as well. Decided I'll do Shattered Space, finish up Shattered Space later. I like the area, and I like the first part, but I stopped because I wanted to go ahead and finish Armada. I've got this robot with me, this companion. He's kind of gets in the way. I want to get him out of the way. Also wanted to basically just do a whole bunch of stuff. I was getting a little burned out feeling on the missions. I've done Armada a couple of times now, and but I hadn't done the Shattered Space yet. And the Armada, going to the stations and doing the incursions, it's a little redundant, and I wasn't really feeling all that engaged with it, so I stopped and decided to go capture some ships and build some. Before I did that, though, I spent a little time in the creation kit looking at what it's going to take to port my custom habs into a standalone mob. And the bottom line on that is it could be easier to start from scratch, rebuilding everything, because all of those custom habs, the pack-ins are tied to another mod. And so I have to create every single pack-in and save it to a new name. And the process of doing that and then placing it back in the hab plus the I think one of the problems I have with the save file size that my big mod is running into is the density. The density of objects that I've got placed in those habs, and it all adds up, and I think that's part of the problem. So I decided that I think I start off with at 5.7 megabytes from where I left off in the Shattered Space, and I wind up by the end of the day at 7.28. For 9 hours play, that's a third of a megabyte per hour. That's pretty good. But I decided that I'm going to do some builds, play. If 40 megabytes is actually the limit for a save file, and I'm doing somewhere between a third to a half a megabyte per hour, that's going to take me at least 70 hours to get to 40 megabytes, 35 megabytes, where it would start breaking. So that's a while. It's several days of playing. but I want to know what the breaking point is. I went in and I did an edit on this mod, the small mod, this easy mode mod, to my shipbuilder, the custom vendors, and I decided that in order for quality of life, the way I like it, to make some edits. First, I went in and I made the UC Vanguard weapons that you don't get access to unless you do the grunt work, and then you become a citizen, and then you have access to those weapons. I turned off that keyword, looking for that keyword, so I have access to them without doing the missions. I also went in and I edited the J52 grab drive and the 8Z reactor. I doubled their effectiveness.
Hello, Captain. We pose no threat here. Quite the opposite.
So I went from 50 to 100 on the grav drive, and I went from 40 to 80 on the reactor.
Your ship's full of the faithful, Sanctum Universum. Happy to talk if you're inclined.
And then the galleon cargo, that it's like 1,400 cargo units.
They've traveled, stranger.
And 300 something mass. I brought it down to 100 mass and took it up to 5,000 cargo units. So I'll only really need to use 2 of those, and it takes a huge chunk out of the weight penalty in building, and it gives me where I only need to use 2 of those to reach 10K cargo units, which is plenty enough for me because I've got points and skill points and that give me an increase in cargo storage space. So I think that I wind up with like 15K, and I'm trimming down how much I'm carrying with me anyway because just to minimalize to make all of this work without making everything weigh nothing. I make it weigh some stuff, but I want to be able to use other parts and such. But basically, I also edited my shield again so that I've got like 4K health on my shield. It just makes things easier and more relaxed for me. I've got all the difficulty level on everything cranked to the max, and but I basically I want to have fun. I want to clock through this stuff. I want to go capture ships, decorate them a little bit, and just play. And so I made those changes to my mod in order to accommodate something that's a little bit more fun for me. So that gives me the ability to have less landing gear, and so the underneath of the ship is a little cleaner. I can have some choices and not have to use the same engines and the same landing gear and as many pieces of landing gear as I got space underneath the ship. That's not fun to me. That's overkill. I don't think that it should be that way, and so I changed it where it's not that way. I didn't change it as much as I had it before, but I changed it enough to where I can get back to having a lot more flexibility. So I go back to doing the Armada stuff, and I run through it to. I think I've got just a couple of steps left, and I'll be doing the end game location. I've already been to the junkyard, and I think I've got one or two more items I've got to collect, and and then I go to the end event, which then I wind up dumping the robot companion and go on my way. I mean, incursions continue to go on, and I'll leave that running. I may want to go farm some of the ships or whatever, but mostly I want to get back to where I'm playing without the companion because he's always standing in the way. I try to fly my ship or doing a dogfight, and he's standing in my vision, pacing back and forth in front of my vision. I try to go run an incursion, and he's standing in front of me where I can't see through my sights because he's standing in my vision. And the companions really suck. I have nothing good to say about the companions other than they just suck. They're not fun to play with. They're a nuisance. They get in the way. They're not helpful, and they got bad personalities. So I don't like playing with the companions at all. But I want to get a meter on normal gameplay and see if I can get back to where I can get the maximum mileage out of a NG, so that I don't have to NG every 2 hours, 4 hours, or whatever. I like doing the creative aspect of building all those things and making all those bases and making all those ships and all, but it gets too much for the game to handle. It has to save all that data. One of the things I've noticed in playing through a lot of this content now is that after I leave a place, I may go into a place and it'll increase the save file size, but after I leave, it sizes back down. It's like it doesn't have to remember a place that I've been to that I'm not going to return to because I've cleared it and that's done. It seems like it takes that out of the save. I'm guessing, I don't know if that's the case, but I see the size of the save decrease after I leave a place, increase when I get there and decrease when I leave. The steady increase would be that I have been doing a lot of missions and going some other places, and I now have 3 built ships. I built the Frontier, and then I went and got the Dagger, and I built that, and then I went and got the Razor Leaf, and that's what I'm in. Not here now, but that's what I'm in. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and cut over to some of that other video. So here I've got the Captain's Hab, the custom build Captain's Hab, that I'm looking at it, deciding how difficult it'd be to port this into this other mod, extract it from the mod where it's in, all of the components and what's involved in actually duplicating this. And the short story is that it's too involved. I could recreate it easier than trying to copy it and then rename all of the elements to make them work, because it's just too easy to miss something. There's so many items in there, and some of these items are renamed. Some of them are still the base name. They've probably all been renamed though, because they've been resized to fit. And because when you go to, whenever you change a base item, you don't want to change a base item. You want to duplicate and rename it so that it's no longer the base item, and then you make a change to it, and the change exists with the changed item and not with the base item, because everything in the game that uses the base item, if you make a change to it, it's changed now for everything in the game. So you just don't do that. So these pictures are resized. The wall has got a veneer on it. The lamp has been renamed, and it's got its own light bulb in it that's been renamed. Um, some of this stuff has been assembled. There are several pieces that have been put together to make another plug-in, and that's been renamed. And it would be easier to just rebuild all this stuff from scratch than it would be to go in and try to extract everything that's already, extract it all in a group and then go through and do all the renaming. It's just overcomplicated, and something's going to get missed, and it'll break something if you miss something. So I'm not doing that. Plus, I think that's part of the problem. I think part of the problem is that there's so much density of items in there. So here's my frontier, and I'm checking here on the changes that I've made to verify. So now you see I've got the UC Vanguard weapons, and I haven't done the mission to get them. I've just confirmed that I have access to them now without doing the mission, that I turned that keyword off. My reactor has been scaled back up, and my grab drive in there, it's been doubled up. The shield's been doubled, brought back up to 4,000. The cargo is now 5,000 instead of 1,400, and it weighs 100 instead of 324 or whatever it was. Basically, just quality of life, something that gives me more flexibility in building ships with a little bit more variety than the same gear and all. So let's see how those weapons and all work now. It's working now pretty quick.
We are late.
Now those guys are less annoying. Yeah, companion walking in the way. I just don't like those, that engine stack on this. It doesn't look right. But you're stuck with it unless you mod up the weight distribution and such.
my son. Yours. Yet another challenge. So, yeah. It's time! 5, 4, you get the hell out now!
trust me, you'll want to talk with me. We should talk. I can be helpful. You did it! I knew you'd eventually make the leap. How are you enjoying this go of it? That's wonderful to hear, and rare. Usually a Starborn's life is complicated and unpleasant. I fought to get to the Unity again once or twice, but after all the pain, suffering, and just mind-boggling effort, I was left wondering, why bother? So now I indulge my hedonist side, and I must say it's a lot more fun than the constant struggle. I knew I had a good feeling about you. Charmed to properly meet you. I wanted to let you know, however, that my interests are broader than debauchery. I also do business. I cater to Starborn, a very exclusive and specialized crowd. You can call me the trader. I sell a smattering of hard-to-come-by items, ridiculously marked up, because the Starborn should be able to afford it. If you are short of funds, I'll stay in the area. Plenty of diversions on my yacht. Let's do this.